Yeah, hello and how are you? Hey friends, welcome to the Shen Show. I am your host, Shenandoah Briscoe, coming to you from right here in where else but St. Charles, Missouri. I'm kind of a little chilly right this second, so things are not thinking right, but that's okay. We'll get better. We will get better. All right, hey, today is Friday, December the 4th, 2020. Got a Shen Show likes that are going out to Gary R. Webb, Martin Kelly, Jamie O'Driscoll, Tina Ashbrook, Tina Cleeschulte Ashbrook, Sherry Williams Divine, or actually that's not Divine, it is Divine, but it's spelled D-E, not D-I. And Leone Pedraza Fernandez. And then, of course, my pokey pal, Amanda Sue Little. Alrighty, I'm a little chilly, so I'm gonna just run through the weather and everything really quick today. Um, 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 we're going to jump on that right now. Here's our weather forecast for the remainder of the day. Well, it's 27 degrees out there currently, and we're going to have clear skies with lows around 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be light and variable, west and northwest at 5 to miles per hour. And then Saturday, um, sunshine, high temperatures around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, with winds light and variable. Clear skies overnight with a few passing clouds. Lows around 28 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds are going to be light and variable. And then for Sunday, December the 6th, we've got sunshine and clouds mixed with high temperatures around 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be north and northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then partly cloudy skies overnight with lows around 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be light and variable northwest at about 4 miles per hour. How about Monday? December the 7th. Intervals of clouds and sunshine. Highs near 45 degrees Fahrenheit with winds northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. A few clouds from time to time. Lower temperatures around 28 degrees Fahrenheit with winds light and variable northwest at about 2 miles per hour. And then Tuesday, the 8th, partly cloudy skies with highs around 49 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds are going to be light and variable. Um, West at about 5 miles per hour. And then 31 degree high for the partly cloudy overnight with winds light and variable around west to southwest around 5 miles per hour. And then we've got Wednesday, December the 9th. Boy, I can't get out of November. Partly cloudy skies with high temperatures around 56 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds are going to be west to northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies overnight with temperatures of 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds are going to be light and variable. See, that's what I should be doing, closing them back up. And then that way, whenever I get to Thursday, uh, December the 10th, we've got 58 degree, partly cloudy skies, winds is southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then partly cloudy skies overnight with low temperatures around 36 degrees Fahrenheit. And so, hey, my friends, I think that concludes our 5 day forecast for the St. Charles viewing area. Yuppers, I do believe that does it. Yeah, that's 5 of them. Because it gives me a 10-day forecast now. It doesn't give me just five. So anyway, there you go. That was your 5 day forecast for the St. Charles viewing area. Let's see about something to do. How about a song for From Me to You? What kind of songs are we gonna do? I got sunshine on a cloudy day. And when it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. I guess I could do that. How about song lyrics? My girl. Aha, there it is. Oh, I guess you'd say, oh, what can make me feel this way is my girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. Oh, I've got so much honey, the bees envy me. I've got a sweeter song than the birds in the trees. Well, I guess you'd say, oh, what can make me feel this way is my girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. Ooh, ooh, hey, 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 hey. Oh, oh yeah. I don't need no money, nor fortune, nor fame. Ooh, oh, oh, hey, hey. I've got all the riches, baby, what man can claim. Oh, yes, I do. I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way is my girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day with my girl. Oh, I'm talking about my girl. I've even got the month of May with my girl. Oh, my girl. Oh, oh. She's all I can think. My girl. Talking about my girl. Talking about my girl. All right, there you go. That was My Girl by The Temptations. Ooh, ooh. How about I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore? It's been so long I've forgotten what I'm fighting for. I think that's I Can't Fight This Feeling. Song lyrics, I can't fight this feeling anymore. I would imagine. What's it? Yeah, it is Can't Fight This Feeling anymore. I can't fight this feeling any longer, and yet I'm still afraid to let it flow. What started out as friendship has grown stronger. I only wish I had the strength to let it show. I tell myself that I can't hold out forever. I said there is no reason for my fear. 'Cause I feel so secure when we're together. You may give my life direction, you make everything so clear. And even as I wander, I keep you inside. Your candle in the window on a cold, dark winter's night. And I'm getting closer than I ever thought I might. I can't fight this feeling any longer. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. It's been time to bring this ship into the shore and throw away the oars forever. I am Iron Man. Boom, boom, tee, boom, boom, tee, boom, boom, tee. Can he walk or will he fall? If he stumbles, does he stall? Boom, boom, tee, boom, boom, tee, boom. Song lyrics, Iron Man. He has lost his mind. Can he see or is he blind? Can he walk at all? Or if he moves, will he fall? Is he alive or dead? Is he thought within his head? Well, We'll just pass him there. Why should we even care? He was turned to steel in the great magnetic field where he traveled time for the future of mankind. Nobody wants him. He just stares at the world, planning his vengeance that he would soon unfold. Now the time is here for a man to spread fear. Vengeance from the grave kills the people he once saved. And nobody wants him. And they just turn their heads. Nobody helps him. Now he has his revenge. Heavy boots of lead fills his victims full of dread, running as fast as they can. Iron Man lives again. I guess it was Black Sabbath. Yeah, I guess so. Ho 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 ho. Ho ho ho. Speaking of ho ho ho, well, song lyrics, who wouldn't go on the rooftop with old Saint Nick? Well, it's up on a housetop, reindeer paws, out jumps good old Santa Claus, down through the chimney with lots of toys, all for the little ones' Christmas joys. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Up on the housetop, click, 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 and down through the chimney with old Saint Nick. First comes the stockings on little Neil. Oh, dear Santa, fill it well. Give her a dolly and laugh that laughs and cries, one that will open and shut her eyes. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Up on the housetop, click, 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 and down through the chimney with old Saint Nick. The next comes a stocking for little Will. Oh, he's just see, oh, just see what a glorious fill. Here's a hammer and lots of tacks, also a ball and a whip that cracks. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Up on the housetop, click, 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 and down through the chimney with good old Saint Nick. All right, there you go, folks. Hey, that looks like that's the end of the song portion of the program. Looks like it's time for story time for the kids. And of course, we're gonna end up with part three. That's right, part three of the Snow Queen fairy tale. Boy, boy, boy. See, I thought they said it was a short story fairy tale. It's not. So here we go. Anyway. But what became of the little Greta when Kay did not return? Where could he be? Nobody knew. Nobody could give any intelligence. All the boy knew was that what's this? All the boy knew was that they had seen him tie his sleigh to all the boys knew was that he had seen him tie his sleigh to another large and splendid one, which drove down the street and out of the town. Nobody knew where he was. Many sad tears were shed, and little Greta wept long and bitterly. At last she said he must be dead, and that he has been drowned in the river, which flowed close to the town. Oh, those were very long and dismal winter evenings. At last spring came, with it warm sunshine. Kay is dead and gone, said little Greta. That I do, that I don't believe, said the sunshine. Kay is dead and gone, said she to the swallows. That I don't believe, said they. And at last little Greta did not think so any longer either. I'll put on my red shoes, said she one morning, and Kay had never seen them, and then I'll go down to the river and ask there. It was quite early, and she kissed her grandmother, her old grandmother, who was still asleep, put on her red shoes, and went alone to the river. It is true that you have taken my little playfellow. Is it true that you have taken my little playfellow? I will make you a present of my red shoes if you will give him back to me. And as it seemed to her, the blue waves nodded it in a strange manner. Then she took off her red shoes, the most precious things she possessed, and threw them both into the river. But they fell so close to the bank, and the little waves bore them immediately to land. It was as if the stream would not take what was offered, for in reality it had not got little Kay. But Greta thought that she had not thrown the shoes out far enough, so she clambered into a boat which lay among the rushes, and went to the farthest end and threw out the shoes. But the boat was not fastened, and the motion which she occasioned made it drift from the shore. She observed this and hastened to get back, but before she could do so, the boat was more than a yard from the land and was gliding quickly onward. Little Greta was very frightened and began to cry, but no one heard her except the sparrows, and they could not carry her to land. But they flew along the bank and sang as if to comfort her. Here we are, here we are. The boat drifted with the stream. Little Greta sat quiet still, while without shoes, for they were swimming behind the boat. But she could not reach them, because the boat went much faster than they did. The banks on both sides were beautiful, lovely flowers, venereal trees, and slopes with sheep and cows, but not a human being was in seen. Perhaps the river will carry me to little Kay, she said, and then she grew less sad. She rose and looked for many hours at the beautiful green banks. Presently she said she sailed by a large cherry orchard, where was a little cottage with curious red and blue windows. It was thatched, and before it two wooden soldiers stood sentry, and presented arms when anyone went past. Greta called out to them, for she thought they were alive, but they, of course, did not answer. She came close to them, for the stream drifted the boat quite near the land. Greta called still louder, and an old woman then came out of the cottage, leaning upon a crooked stick. She had a large broad-brimmed hat on, painted with the most splendid flowers. "Poor little child," said the old woman, "how did you get upon the large rapids river, to be driven about so world, in the wide world. And then the old woman went into the water, caught a hold of the boat, and with her crooked stick drew it to the bank, and lifted little Greta out. And Greta was so glad to be on dry land again, but she was rather afraid of the strange old woman. "But come and tell me who you are, and how you came here," she said. And Greta told her all, and the old woman shook her head and said, "Ahem, ahem." And when Greta had told her everything, and asked her if she had not seen little Kay, the woman answered that he had not passed there, but he knew, no doubt, would come, and she told go to sleep. And she no doubt said he would come by, and she told her not to be cast down, but taste her cherries and look at her flowers, which were finer than any in a picture book, each of which would tell a whole story. She then took Greta by the hand and led her into the little cottage and locked the door. The windows were very high up, and the glass was red, blue, and green, and the sunlight shone through quite wondrously, in all sorts of colors. On the table stood the most exquisite cherries, and Greta ate as many as she chose, for she had permission to do so. While she was eating, the old woman combed her hair with a golden comb, and her hair curled and shone with a lovely golden color around that sweet little face, which was so round and so like a rose. "I have often longed for such a dear little girl," said the old woman. "Now you shall see how well we agree together." And while she combed little Greta's hair, the child forgot her frost frosted brother Kay more and more, for the old woman understood magic, but she was not evil. She was no evil being. She only practiced witchcraft as a little for her own private amusement, and now she wanted very much to keep little Greta. She therefore went out in the garden, stretched out her crooked stick towards the rose bushes, which, beautifully as they were blowing. All sank into the earth, and no one could tell where they had stood. The old woman feared that if Greta should see the roses, she would then think of her own and would remember little Kay and run away from her. She now led Greta into the flower garden. Oh, what a odor and what loveliness was there! Every flower that one could think of, and every season stood there in fullest bloom. No picture book could be a gayer or more beautiful. Greta jumped for joy and played till the sun set behind the tall cherry trees. Then she had a pretty bed with a red silken covert filled with blue violets, and she fell asleep and had as a pleasant dream as ever a queen on her wedding day. The next morning she went to play with the flowers in the warm sunshine, and thus passed away a day. Greta knew every flower, and numerous as they were, it still seemed to Greta that one was wanting. though she did not know which. One day, while she was looking at the hat of the old woman, painted with flowers, the most beautiful of them all seemed to her to be a rose. The old woman had forgotten to take it from her hat when she had made the others vanish in the garden. But so it is when one's thoughts are not collected. What, said Greta, are there, said Greta, are there no roses here? And she ran about amongst the flower beds and looked, but there was not one to be found. Then she sat down and wept, but her hot tears fell just where a rose bush had sank, and when her warm tears watered the ground, the tree shot up suddenly, as fresh and blooming as when it had been swallowed up. Greta kissed the roses and thought of her dear Rose at home, and with them of little Kay. "Oh, how long have I stayed?" said the little girl. "I intended to look for Kay, and don't you know where he is?" she asked of the roses. "Do you think he is dead and gone?" "Deadly Dead, he certainly is not," said the roses. "We have been in the earth where all the dead are, but Kay was not there." "Many thanks," said little Greta, and she went to the other flowers, looked into their cups, and asked, "Don't you know where little Kay is?" But every flower stood in the sunshine and dreamed its own fairy tale or its own story, and they all told her very many things, but not one knew anything of Kay. Well, what did the tiger lily say? "Hearest thou not the drum? Bum, bum. Those are the only two tones. Always bum, bum. Hark to the plaintive song of the old woman, to the call of the priests. The Hindu woman in her long robe stands upon the funeral pile. The flames rise around her and her dead husband, but the Hindu woman thinks on the living one in the surrounding circles. Now, on him whose eyes burn hotter than the flames on him, the fire of whose eyes pierce her heart more than the flames which soon will burn her body to ashes. Can the heart's flames die in the flame of the funeral pile?" "I don't understand that at all," said little Greta. "That's my story," said the lily. "What did the carnivorable say?" "Projecting over a narrow mountain path there hangs an old feudal castle. Thick evergreens grow on the dilapidated walls and around the altar, where a lovely maiden is standing. She bends over the railing and looks out upon the rose. No fresher roses hangs on the branches than she. No apple blossom carried away by the wind is more buoyant. How her silken robe is rustling! Is he not yet come? Is Kay that you mean? Is it Kay that you mean?" asked little Greta. "I'm speaking about my story, about my dream," answered the Convolvulus. "What did the Sundrop say?" "Between the trees a long board is hanging. It is a swing. Two little girls are sitting in it and swinging themselves backward and forward. Their frocks are as white as snow. The long green silk ribbons flutter from their bonnets. Their brother, who is older than they are, stands up in the swing. He twines his arms around the cords to hold himself fast, for in one hand he has a little cup, and in the other a clay pipe. He is blowing soap bubbles. The swing moves, and the bubbles float in charming changing colors. The last is still hanging to the end of the pipe. The rock the rocks in the breeze and the swings move, and the little black dog, as light as a soap bubble, jumps up on his hind legs to try to get into the swing. It moves, and the dog falls down. Bark as barking barks and is angry. They tease him. The bubbles burst. Bursting bubble. Such is my song. What are you relating? My very pretty, but you tell it so melancholy a manner, and do not mention K. What do the what do the hyacinths say? There were once upon a time three sisters, quite transparent and very beautiful. The robe of the one was red, and that of the second blue, and that of the third white. They danced hand in hand beside the clam, like in the clear moonshine. They were not elfin maidens, but mortal children. A sweet fragrance was smelt, and the maidens vanished in the wood. The fragrance grew stronger. 3 coffins, and then 3 lovely maidens glided out of the forest and across the lake. The shining glow worms flew around like little floating lights. Do the dancing maidens sleep, or are they dead? The odor of the flowers says they are corpses. The evening bells toll for the dead. You make me quite sad, said little Greta. I cannot help thinking of the dead maidens. Oh, is little Kay really dead? The roses have been in the earth, and they say no. Ding dong sounded the hyacinth bell. We do not toll for little Kay. We do not know him. That is our way of saying the only one we have. And Greta went to the ranunculus that looked forth from among the shining green leaves. You are a little bright sun, said Greta. Tell me if you know where I can find my playfellow. And the ranunculus stone shone brightly, and looked again at Greta with song. Could the ranchetta sing? It was one that said nothing about Kay either. In a small court, the bright sun was shining in the first days of the spring. The beams glide down the white walls of the neighbor's house, and close by the fresh yellow flowers were growing, shining like gold in the warm sun rays. And old grandmother was sitting in the air. Her granddaughter, the poor and lovely servant, just come from a short visit. She knows her grandmother. There was gold, pure virgin gold, in that blessed kiss. There, that is my little story, said the ranunculus. My poor old grandmother, sighed Greta. Yes, she is longing for me, no doubt. She is sorrowing for me, as she did for little Kay. But I will soon come home, and then I will bring Kay with me. It is of no use asking the flowers. They only know their own old rhymes and can tell me nothing. And she tucked up her frock to enable her to run quicker, but the narcissus gave her a knock on the leg just as she was going to jump over it. So she stood still, looked at the long yellow flower, and asked, "You perhaps know something?" And she bent down to the narcissus, and what did it say? "I can see myself, I can see myself. Oh, how adorous I am. Up in the little grate there stands, half dressed, a little dancer. She stands now on one leg, now on both. She despises the whole world. Yet she lives only in imagination. She pours water out of her teapot over a piece of stuff which she holds in her hand. It is the Bodias. Cleans, Cleanliness is a fine thing. The white dress is hanging on the hook. It was washed in the teapot and dried on the roof. She puts it on, ties a saffron-colored kerchief around her neck, and then the gown looks too wider. I can see myself, I can see myself. That's nothing to me, said little Greta. That does not concern me. And then off she ran to the further end of the garden. The gate was locked, but she shook the rusted bolt until it was loosened, and the gate opened, and little Greta ran off barefooted into the wide world. She looked around her thrice, but no one followed her. At last she could run no longer. She sat down on a large stone, and when she looked about her, she saw that the summer had passed. It was late in the autumn, but that one could not remark in the beautiful garden, where there was always sunshine and where there were flowers the whole year round. "Dear me, how long have I stayed?" said Greta. "Autumn is come. I must not rest any longer." And she got up to go further. How tender and worried her little feet were. All around it looked so cold and raw. The long willows leaves were quite yellow, and the fog dripping from them like water. One leaf fell after the other. The sloes only stood full of fruit, which she once which she set one's teeth on edge. Oh, how dark and comfortless it was in the dreary world. Okay, tomorrow we will read part 4. My goodness gracious. All right, looks like it's time for our portion of the program called um, Our Daily Bread, which I don't know where it went, so we'll just have to find it. It's no longer here where it used to be. odb.org. Wait a minute, that ain't it. Wait a minute. I don't see this. Where is it at? odb.org. Is this it? That, our daily bread. There. This is what I want to. Wake up. Our daily bread. Paste that. Okay, here we go. Today's devotion is Relentless Love. Relentless Love. There you go. And the daily bread portion of the program is going to be brought to us today by the Go to Sleep. The daily bread portion of the program is going to be brought to us today by the Bible with Briscoe 2020. The Bible with Briscoe 2020 is a daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. Today's reading in the Bible with Briscoe 2020 will be Ezekiel 47 through 48 and 1 John 3. Okay, here we go. Relentless Love. And we will be reading 1 John 3, 16 through 18. Relentless love. How much love can we get? This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for others, for our brothers and sisters. If anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person? Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. There you go. That's what relentless love is. Alrighty, hey, that looks like the end of it for me. Looks like I got one more song to sing for you, and that would be, oh, well, goodbye, my friends, it's time to go. Oh, I said goodbye, my friends, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must go. So goodbye, my friends, goodbye. This here's been Shenandoah Briscoe saying hello and how are you? Thanks for tuning in to the Shen Show, and as always, you know, God loves you and so do I. So come back and see me tomorrow because, well, hey, you know what? I'll be here, and I hope that you are too.